This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's worst 250 movies, so you do not have to.
I'm Michelle St. Clair.
I'm Abigail Ward.
And this week we watched The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. A young boy is recruited by his imaginary friends, Sharkboy and Lavagirl, to help save their planet. Let's watch.
Woohoo! Oh yeah, you're gonna be burping.
Yeah, now I get why you burp so much.
Yeah.
Now I get why you burp
I'm
so
just
much.
a girl.
You are just a girl.
Looking at another girl. Asking
Thank
her
you.
to not... Thank you. Affirming.
I do it so instinctively when someone's like, you're a girl. I'm like, yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Asking her to not judge her for her burps.
You know what? This is 70 on the list. And I feel like that's not quite like a 50 or a 75 or whatever, but it feels like an epoch in that the numbers are going less and less, you know?
Yeah.
I'll say right now, I forgive you for the burps.
No, that's not what I'm looking for.
I forgive you for your violent, hideous burps.
I don't need to be forgiven. You need to be forgiven.
Oh.
You need to say, I'm sorry for judging you on the burps.
No, wait. Let me do it. Let me frame it a different way. Abigail, I seek absolution for my judgment of your burps.
Just say sorry.
Well, that's what I seek absolution for.
But you're really just trying to get around just say sorry.
Feels like you're trying to, work around what I'm saying, and I think what
you just don't want to have to apologize.
I think.
Don't you reckon? Just try it.
What I'm saying is,
sorry.
Truce on the burps. I think both sides have made some mistakes, and I think what I'm saying.
What mistakes have I made?
Burping
That's not a mistake.
directly into the microphone.
It's a human function.
To annoy me on purpose.
Okay, well, yeah. All right. I'm sorry.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
And now you say it.
Say what?
Oh my God, Michelle. So why are you single?
No. Whoa. Mighty.
No.
Whoa, la, 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 la.
No.
I mean, the listeners can't see the faces you're pulling, but
Oh, I'm going like this, listeners.
that's not.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to be like, they
think
can't, but I actually think the noises you made conveyed the face pretty well.
I think it worked.
Yeah, just to clarify, she's going like,
And
Well, I would say almost like a handless It's kind of the face you're making.
it's fucked that we're getting
What's
down
it
to
go?
the 70th on the list.
Yeah.
We have like a year and a bit left.
Yeah. This suggests we have a year and a half left.
You are turning 30 in like 6 months. But when
So are
we
you.
started this, we were both 25.
Yeah.
And I remember when we started, we're both being like, we'll be 30 when it's over.
That'll never happen.
So close. Where did time go?
Where'd all the time go? Yeah. Well, I mean, the pandemic swallowed a lot of it.
It did. Yeah, it did. Although, to be fair, the pandemic really only lasted for a year after we started the podcast.
Year and a half.
Well, a year and 4 months.
The back half of 2021 was like almost entirely lockdown.
Yeah, we got out of lockdown in October 2021.
Yeah, but then it was like still restricted in some ways from October to...
Because 2022 felt like a fresh start.
No, it did, but I remember October to December was when they were like, all right, lockdown's easing, but like cases were still surging, so
And
everyone
it was
like
10 people per house.
hey, maybe we should chill out on the immediately doing everything
That's
phase. So it was
true.
like, wasn't true lockdown, but it was like still social, let's be responsible.
I do feel like, the back half of 2021 was. But I still remember I got up to Sydney for Christmas, so we were able to travel by that point.
Yeah. I remember it was like kind of touch and go, but we were all like masked up, staying safe, and we all managed to do it.
I do love the one positive that came out of COVID is just the fact that it
What?
did like the one positive that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
I haven't finished what I was saying.
I was just surprised by your premise.
I said the one positive.
I was just surprised by the premise. I wasn't
didn't say
denying
one of
it.
the many positives.
I was just surprised by the
Even
premise.
when I try and load it to be non-offensive, you're like, what?
No, I was like, what? I'm enticed.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. Sorry for being involved in your story.
I thought it was you getting your back up, being like, a positive?
No.
The one positive
What?
out of COVID. Forget it.
Tell me. I'm intrigued and would like to hear what it is.
Did revolutionize the workforce in that people are now able to work remotely, work from home. People with disabilities that can't go into offices have more access to different kinds of employment. That has been a genuinely really positive effect. The fact that people like Claude, like he works as a lawyer. Prior to COVID, he would be going into the office every day. Thanks to COVID, he can work from home 3 days a week.
Yeah, I do think you're right. That is a positive. I do think a negative is that it didn't revolutionize the workers so much that we were able to throw off our chains as we could have. However, I will accept that now I can work from home more easily.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Although you're a freelance editor.
Yeah, I know, but before people really wanted to do stuff in person all the time.
I think it incentivized people to actually start looking at how it would work to do professional business online.
Yeah.
And people realized, it's really easy actually to have like a Zoom meeting and get stuff done.
The rise of shadow kitchens.
Shadow kitchens were crazy.
Yeah. They still have them.
Yeah?
They still got them.
Where are the shadow kitchens? Do you use one?
Still many of the... I mean, I don't know which one's an Uber Eats necessarily or Deliveroo or the other one.
I remember there was a shadow kitchen in Sydney near where we used to live.
Shadow kitchen.
And I couldn't figure it out because I would look it up and be like, it's not on Google Maps. What's going on? But I ordered from there all the time because it was a dessert place. But it was like you could order like chocolate ice cream with all of these toppings on top, and it was really affordable. It was like $9. And so I would get this like little fucking plastic box, open it up, and it would be full of this delicious fudgy chocolate ice cream and covered in like M&Ms and oh god, what do you call them? The little pods.
Oh, pods. You love pods.
I love pods.
You're
and it
a
would be
big
covered in
pod
like
girl.
caramel sauce and different kinds of fudge. It was the best dessert place I've ever gone to because it was clearly just people in a shadow kitchen throwing shits of like bags of lollies into some really gluttonous container, and then you could buy it for like $10. And so I was just getting that all the time.
Yeah.
I was not at that point.
No. But you love pods. And you know what? Speaking of pod people, this week we watched The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Yeah.
So look, I've said before, I've watched this movie like 30 to 40 times.
Why have you watched it so much? Because, look, obviously I know it's a cult film and people love it and I like it, but I never watched it as a kid. I've only watched it as an adult and I appreciate it as an adult. But I never had the experience as a kid to watch it.
Obviously, by the time it came out, we would have been...
Just a bit too old.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I was 10.
It came out in 2005. Yeah, 10. 10 is meant to be the target demo, but it felt
too old. I didn't see it in the cinemas. I think both... I mean, I have an older brother as well, which means that everything I watch is probably skewed a bit older than what I am. In that if I had a younger sibling, maybe I would have gone to see it.
Well,
but
so that's the thing, is that I have seen it a lot because of my sister. This is one of her favorites because, I mean, it has a lot going on visually.
Yeah.
And I do think she is attracted to that particularly.
I'm attracted to that particularly.
Yeah, but this is one of the ugliest movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's ugly, but you can't tear your eyes away.
When watching
I want to see the next shot.
When watching it, I think of the story about the guy in Food Fight who threw up watching the
Yeah, I'm like, why didn't someone throw up watching Sharkboy and Lavagirl?
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing where every single shot, I can't wait to see the next thing. I'm like, what else will they pull out of the bag?
That's crazy.
I'm like, this is so nuts. I need to see what else they do.
It's a big bag of dreams, except the dreams are almost entirely goo, cookies, and electricity.
Yes.
That is the entire extent of this
And
boy's
ice.
dreams.
And ice. There's a lot of ice.
No, but that barely feels like a dream. He thought of ice. That's nothing.
I know, but the ice has a big role in it. Like
Me reading Lord of the Rings, a hill. I've already heard of those.
Yeah, so many hills. No, I like it visually. I could keep watching it. Like if it had a sequel, I would watch a sequel just to see what it looked like.
It has.
Really?
I can tell you about it now.
What?
What it doesn't have is a true sequel, right?
What do you mean?
What it does have is a standalone / legacy sequel. It's a movie that was on... I'll just tell you about this now rather than later or anything.
Okay. Bless you. Oh, did you
Jesus.
vomit a bit? It's okay if you did.
I think I did.
Oh, that's okay.
It was so deep. I'd been trying to burp it for ages. It came out...
times I've vomited in the middle of this podcast just in my mouth while burping.
What?
Yeah, it happens all the time. A bit comes up.
What? I didn't know that. You vomit frequently? You vomit on the reg on this podcast?
Not even on the reg.
On air?
Just It's happened.
Okay.
I would say at least 5 times over the last 4 years.
5 times?
Yeah, a bit comes up.
I've never vomited on air.
You just did. In your mouth.
Well, I guess.
A bit.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
The sequel came out December, like Christmas Day 2020. It was called We Can Be Heroes.
Oh.
It was also written and directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Okay.
It's notable. This is so good to get out of the way, right?
Okay.
It has its own sequel coming. It's not really related in that it's not true. Like, you could watch it having never watched Sharkboy and Lavagirl and you'd be fine. But notably, features in a scene Sharkboy and Lavagirl as adults. They get married. And they have a child called Guppy who has shark strength.
Guppy!
She is their child. She's their youngest child.
I like that it does confirm, though, that they do end up getting married. Because at the end of the film, I don't think that there's that much romantic between Sharkboy and Lavagirl the whole time. But then in the final scene, when they're walking on that beach and they hold pinkies to each other, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And there's this closeness between them that made me wonder if it would be romantic. I'm really thinking about the Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Well, you were right. Taylor Lautner didn't come back, so they put him in a mask. But Taylor Dooley came back to be Lavagirl.
That's so sweet.
Fun.
Both Taylors.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. And they're both from Minnesota.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually thought Taylor Lautner was so good in this. Is that stupid? I actually thought as a child actor, he was giving it a lot of the time.
He is one of the stronger performances in this.
I like both of them. I thought Lavagirl was good, but I thought him as Sharkboy, there were bits where he was like punching shit and like he did the angry aspects really well. I thought.
I think it's not that I think she's bad. I think the direction she's given, she does well. It's just the direction she's given is
too flat.
Well, it's to deliver every line as if she's talking to someone on morphine. Hey,
I'm light.
Dream. Yeah, I'm
actually love
obsessed
that, though.
any time in a movie that someone says you are light or I am light.
Yeah.
You're not destruction.
You are light.
You're light.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it was just that I don't know what was going on last night, but while I was watching it, I did actually get a little like tingle of emotion when he said you were light. What the fuck?
You're light. It's a well-directed sequence.
It is.
It's just not good.
It's touching. And the thing is, what I appreciate about this film is that it is a kid's film. And this is what Robert Rodriguez always does well. Kids film made for kids feels like it's made for kids.
Yes.
This was also kind of made by his son, right? Like, his son thought of it.
You know what? Let's get into key details and I'll talk about that exactly.
Yeah.
So, as we said, this came out in 2005.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez directed. But as you were just talking about, it says at the beginning, based on the story by Racer Max. So Racer Rodriguez is his son.
Is that his real name, Racer?
Yeah.
And Max is his middle name?
Yeah.
What?
Racer Max Rodriguez.
Racer Rodriguez?
This is why I love Robert Rodriguez.
He's nuts.
And like, I'm pretty sure Racer has been on the list before. He's in it as young Sharkboy at the beginning.
Oh, really? That was him?
Yeah, that was Racer.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he's a cute kid. Well, now he's like a full-on person.
Wow.
Instead of just like
I
a
want to be
little
one of
child.
those.
Because he was that young in 2005.
Yeah.
It's been almost 20 years.
Yeah, he's probably roughly our age.
God.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, this film was probably shot 20 years ago. You know, like going into production 20 years ago.
I wish you didn't tell me that.
Feel old yet?
Yes. Yes. I've never in my life thought of this movie as 20 years old.
Yeah, it's like the same amount of time that it elapsed between Back to the Future and Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Wow. That's...
How does that feel?
Moving on. So, Racer came up with the characters of Sharkboy and Lavagirl, which explains why they feel like they've been invented by a 10-year-old, right? Which is why it says based on the story. So, like, Robert Rodriguez, as we've talked about before, loves his son more than any director I've ever seen in my life. He's so obsessed with his son and, like, making it a family thing.
Does he have other children?
I don't know, actually.
Because if it's just one son he's obsessed with, what the fuck?
That would be really funny.
Racer's awesome, man. What about Amelia?
He has 5 children.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But maybe there's more stuff with his other kids. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up as much with Robert Rodriguez and some of his later work. So I don't know. Wow, apparently he had... I'm reading right now that Robert Rodriguez apparently had a, quote, dalliance with Rose McGowan during the shooting of Grindhouse.
What?
Oh.
When was that?
Whoa. That would have been in like 2007.
So he's not with his wife
But
anymore?
he and his wife separated in 2006. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I can't necessarily, when skimming through quite a long Wikipedia entry, see things about his other 4 children. I don't know whether that means they weren't involved. I don't know whether that means they were born later. I don't know whether it's just that Racer is the oldest and thus the default kid, you know? Maybe if Racer had died, the next kid would...
Default. As a younger sibling, I hate that.
Well, I am a younger sibling. I'm also an older sibling.
I would say you're everything. You're middle, older, and younger. But technically, I would say you grew up as an older sibling because your older brothers were so far away in terms of age and location.
And also, they're only half brothers.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But there is a lot of specific dynamics in my family.
Yeah, how does it feel being an older, middle, and youngest?
It means sometimes I ask other people, like, what do you think? And I get different answers every time. Different answers every time. I do think I fit oldest more because there's also the co-parenting thing of oldest child.
If I met you, I would assume you're an oldest kid or an only child.
Thank you.
Mainly like oldest just because a lot of older kids have that like knack for organization and sense.
Nice.
Which, believe it or not, I think you have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What
do I come across as?
Young child.
Oh.
Chaos. Mania.
Wow. A lot of people tell me only
Wild
child.
nature.
I wish I was an only child.
I guess I don't know enough about what defines an only child.
Being aloof? I don't know.
I guess you're aloof, but no.
I'm not on this podcast.
You have a what?
I'm not on this podcast. Aloof.
Oh.
I'm not saying as a blanket statement I'm not on this podcast.
I think a real fear took over my
I saw you go, what? I didn't realize it was that easy to gaslight you.
This is just deep concern about like where it drops through the neurodivergence of it all is when I just genuinely don't understand something and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, this is a situation, I found myself in a situation where I'm supposed to know what's happening and I just don't. What? Huh? Anyway, so that's Rodriguez and that's Racer Max. Racer Max came up with the characters, and so Robert Rodriguez made this movie as an ode to his child.
Yeah.
In the same way that he also made Spy Kids for his kids.
Yeah.
It is starring Caden Boyd plays Max, and then Taylor Lautner, Sharkboy, and Taylor Dooley is Lavagirl.
Yeah.
Which also means returning actor Taylor Lautner, because he was, of course, in Twilight.
Yeah.
So there's George Lopez, who was in Beverly Hills Chihuahua and Meet the Blacks.
Yeah, George.
Yeah, Meet the Blacks is a long callback for a returning.
Really
he was
is.
Alabama.
I don't remember a thing about that film.
Lucky you.
Oh, I don't know why you've retained anything.
Oh, that means Snoop Dogg would have been returning too, because he was
Yeah.
also in Meet the Blacks.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The budget for this was $50 million, which is one of those things where I'm like, on the one hand, I guess it would have been a big scale, but on the other hand, this is one of the cheapest looking movies I've seen.
Fully, because it's all CGI.
It's all CGI. I guess 2005 it would have been expensive, but like outside of the CGI, it's just like 2 rooms.
Fully. It's just you've got the same actors in a room, you know, for a couple of weeks.
If you told me this was shot for $12 million, I would have believed you.
There's not that many characters in it. That's
There
the thing.
really isn't.
There isn't a lot of cast members. You've got...
Most of the characters play
kids.
another character at one point.
Yeah, you've got Max, you've got Taylor, you've got Sharkboy and Lavagirl, you've got Mr. Electricidad or Mr. Electric, you've got his daughter, you've got Max's mum and dad.
Yeah.
And
Played by Charlotte City. Oh, so she would have
Charlotte
been returning.
City? Charlotte City.
She would have been returning as well, of course, because of Sex and the City too.
And you know what else she was in?
What?
Wasn't she in Shaggy Dog?
Oh, you're right. She was in Shaggy
I swear
Dog.
she was his wife in Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
She and David Arquette
Yes.
as the parents kept making me crack up because this would have been such a low in their career, I think, because there was in the final scene, not to jump ahead, but there's a bit where they both get sucked into cyclones and then brought back by Sharkboy and Lavagirl separately, and it's the stupidest scene I've ever watched.
It is as well because it does two. You know what? We're just in it now. It does 2 of my favorite things. One is that they're yelling because they're in the middle of a tornado. She is flying through the air, about to be sucked into the tornado, and they're like yelling, like, "No, I don't want you to go!" And then like everything stops down,
I
and
love
he's like,
you.
I thought you wanted me to go. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you're bloody whispering.
And by the way, she's getting sucked into Hurricane. He's standing very comfortably.
Yeah.
On his feet, holding her by the hand.
She gets sucked in, and then when Lavagirl flies her back down, she sort of smugly smiles and is like, I wouldn't go anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
And it's like, you almost died. Everyone thought you were dead in that scenario, and you're just like giving a cheeky little grin. A woman made of lava appeared out of nowhere to save you. Are you not startled?
Oh, it's so dumb. And then what I love, again, is that as soon as that happens, he then gets sucked into a hurricane, and Sharkboy comes and pulls him back
but
out.
with no sense of urgency, because by that point we're like, we get
it. But those are really and Linus.
Yes.
Those are the main cast members, and that's it. There's like 8 people.
I will say, the kid who plays Linus, he's fucking giving it. He's eating every scene. He is chewing the scenery. He is eating it up. He left no crumbs.
He's a great little villain as well.
He's a great villain.
He looks like every mean boy in a classroom.
I love the way he delivers lines. Jacob Davich is the kid's name.
Did he go on to do anything else?
Well, this is not a blue link.
Oh no. He only went on to be the president of the United States of America.
Yeah, Jacob Davich was an actor and senator.
And the 46th president of the United States. Oh.
He was apparently
47?
in one episode of Shameless. He was apparently in The Aviator as Howard Hughes at 9 years old.
Cool.
He was also a soccer player in Taken.
Okay.
As well as Steve and Boy Running in the Street. Mm-hmm. He was in a movie called Mr. Woodcock as Nediman's brother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he did a couple things.
A handful of things.
He probably just grew up and didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the Max kid, did he grow up to do much?
Oh boy. So I really did love Linus's performance. You know, Mr. Electric, take him to the principal's office and make him expelled.
Yeah.
He's so good.
There's a lot of really memorable lines in this film.
The way he talks as well is fun. He's like half Shakespeare, half little boy.
Yeah, he's really good. Linus is a real highlight.
He also really enunciates every line he delivers. Max, we are in the dreams.
The dreams.
Oh, I'll take your dream journal,
He's
Max.
got a big mouth, but
He
thin
does.
little lips as well.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for a villain. It's like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. You know, here we are in Sharkboy and Lavagirl. We're here on Planet Drool.
Willem Dafoe's penis really is distractingly big. The fact that when he took it out in the Northman, and I remember thinking, why is he holding a sausage between his legs? And then I realized it was real, and I was like, oh my God, I thought it was like a salami. And that's why I was like, why is he holding a salami? And when I read it was his real dick, I was like, no wonder they had to cover that thing up. It is distractingly big. It's so big it doesn't look like a dick.
So very. Why is he holding a salami? Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like this big fat red salami. This is cock.
He was apparently Michael Boyle in Mystic River, and he was Harry's friend number 2 in Freaky Friday. And apart from that, I don't really know or care about these other credits.
Damn. Okay, so not much of an actor either. It
was Young Angel in X-Men: The Last Stand. I think it's hard when you're a kid actor in a movie that's not very good.
But that's the thing. Taylor Lautner carved out a career thanks to Twilight.
Yeah, but he knows Kung Fu.
He knows Kung Fu, but he also,
knows
this is what
karate.
I mean. I actually do think Taylor Lautner was kind of giving it. I think a lot of young casting directors for kids actors will probably watch it and be like, this guy's got chops.
I think the kid who plays Linus is, I think, actually my favorite of the kid actors. But I think Taylor Lautner, especially given his other skills, was the second best of the performance, and he brings another thing.
He wasn't afraid to commit to it. That's the thing. He'd be like, But what I will say as well is that him next to Max, you're like, oh yeah, he is the better actor.
Oh my
God. The Max
God.
kid was pretty shocking.
Pretty awful.
Yeah.
Pretty awful.
Yeah.
Ooh. He really likes mugging the camera.
My dream journal.
Oh, I said that's right. The budget is that's where we were at. We hadn't gotten the overview or anything. The budget is 50 million. The box office for this 72 million.
Wow, that is lower than I thought.
Right? But I reckon like home video probably would have gotten a lot for this.
And considering it's such a cult classic now, I feel like there must be
Cult
so much.
classic is such a funny way to describe this
Isn't
movie.
it a cult classic? I would say it is for bad movies.
Yeah, for bad movies, yeah. I wouldn't describe it as a cult classic. No, people aren't necessarily going like, ah, man, that movie's... I don't know. I feel like cult classic for me sometimes comes with like an underrated quality.
There's so many people of our generation that when it came out, they were like, I fucking loved that movie. That was like part of my childhood.
I guess, yeah. Here's the overview.
Okay.
Max, a lonely 10-year-old boy in Austin, suffers from bullying at the hands of Linus for his wild and imaginative dreams. However, after his dream journal is stolen and defaced by Linus, a tornado hits their school and two of Max's dream creations, Sharkboy and Lavagirl, arrive and take him to planet Drool, a world composed entirely of his dreams. There he finds there is a darkness that threatens to destroy the entire planet, seemingly aided by Mr. Electric, the former electrician for the planet, who himself reports to an unknown being. They travel to planet Drool, across the dream graveyard, the train of thought, and the land of milk and cookies to find the crystal heart so they can freeze time and stop the darkness. However, they are captured by Mr. Electric, who takes them to Linus, now named Minus, who has taken over Max's dreams. They escape, get the crystal heart, and Max and Minus have a dream battle, but end up putting aside their differences in the name of working together. However, Mr. Electric still wishes to destroy them, so he travels back to Earth to try and smash them while they sleep. Sorry, I just remembered a really funny thing. Max and Linus wake up to find Mr. Electric emerge from the real tornado, whereupon Max uses the crystal heart to stop and destroy him. Peace is restored, with Sharkboy becoming king of the ocean, Lavagirl queen of volcanoes, and Max now friends with Linus.
Yeah.
That's it. Now,
it's very creative. I loved the crystal heart. I loved the land of milk and cookies. Mm-hmm. There was many visual things that I enjoyed. I really liked the ice princess and her outfit. If I was 7 when I watched this and I saw her in her little ice princess outfit, I'd be like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I've even seen that sentiment expressed around before on the internet that when you're a kid, that's peak look.
Yeah, and I'm sure so many young girls would have been like, Lavagirl's so cool.
I had a couple questions about this movie because this movie begs you to understand it, but also it's like, it's dream logic. No.
Does it beg? Because I think it's very happy to be like, there's a lot of mystery here.
Well, I mean, more what I mean is that it wants you to operate on its dream logic, but it says things that are meant to be evocative, but often confused me. A thing I had near the beginning is we see Max in his bed. It is a bunk bed with a fully made bed on the top. Why does this only child have a bunk bed?
Dead twin.
Perhaps.
Maybe
that's why he's so lonely.
That's why he's so sad.
That's why he's because
that'd be really sad.
Because many of the things, this is what I was more speaking to, is that many of the things that we see in the real world are meant to be things that we then realize later. He has a cereal that are Sharkbitos. We see in the schoolroom there is stuff about volcanoes and planets.
Yeah.
The big cookies, his alarm clock is the rocket ship we see. All of the stuff from the dreams are stuff we see around him. It is never explained. So everything is very intentional. Everything is very intentionally put there by Rodriguez because Rodriguez is still a good director operating on a good level.
Yeah.
However, the bunk bed goes unexplained and it confuses and rattles me. Dead twin. I'm with you.
Or the set designer just didn't really think it through. And it wasn't a loft bed.
No, it wasn't because he's sleeping on the bottom bed.
That's bizarre.
It's weird. And it's fully made. And I would have gone, maybe it was Sharkboy. But the parents don't know that Sharkboy. So why would they have gotten Max a bunk bed?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Unless they were like, he should have friends over. We got you a bunk bed. So if you want to have a sleepover, you can have a sleepover.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's weird, but
I love the fact that his mom, who, by the way, so many questions about his mom, the way that she interacts with him, but the fact that she made giant cookies when he's
my cookies, my giant
she's
cookies.
like, my giant cookies. I made them so you could make friends at school. The next day, she's leading Max out of the house, and she's like, well, me and your father, we're not so compatible. Imagine that's how you stop breaking the news to your kid that you're going to go through a divorce soon. It's fucking horrible.
Really
We're not compatible. Anyway, let's talk about it later.
I know.
The very ominous, let's talk after school, honey.
I do appreciate there's some nuances scattered throughout. I appreciate the way that the dad is clear. He's hinted at being a writer who is struggling, and so that's why he has to get a real job. But he's probably where Max gets his love of dreams from, because he's like, no, be imaginative.
Yeah.
But there's some real stuff snuck in, because when he pulls out Tobor, the robot, he's like, hey, check out what I found. I found Tobor, and he's like, I stopped playing with him because he thought he wouldn't work. I was like, why'd you think that? It's like, because you told me. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, man, those
that bit was actually got to me where
Yes.
he was like, I'm sorry. That's like, I shouldn't have said that.
The way
and then
that-
Max is like, no, you were right. I was like, my
Yes.
heart is breaking for him. You shouldn't say that to your kid.
But it's that interest. It's such a great reflection on the way that like parents and also teachers and like authority figures often don't realize moment to moment because they're just people. That the things they say.
How deeply children will take them in.
Yeah, because for them it's just another moment, and for the kid it is an important moment.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so easy to shatter the confidence of a kid, especially when it comes to creating and making things. I remember when I was like writing my little short stories, and my mum's not a bad person for this. She was also just busy doing something. But I'd showed her a short story I was writing, and I said it in like the London Blitz. But my mum, obviously being a history buff, was just trying to point out to me that actually the Nazis never touched ground in England. Like they never, I was like 8 writing about the Nazis, like invaded. But she was like, the Nazis, although they bombed London, they were never in London. They never touched foot on English soil. And I felt so embarrassed, and she didn't say, I was just so shattered. I was like,
Yeah.
she thinks I'm an idiot. This is such a bad story. And I like never showed her anything again. But she wasn't doing anything wrong. It's just kids take everything to heart.
Yeah, and it's also just like because there's other things that our parents say that we forget. It's just the moments that are important for you and are important for them are different moments.
Yeah, fully.
And sometimes I think
And the
people
things you remember are different.
Yeah,
as well.
and people often hold on to resentment of their parents going like, you did this thing, and sometimes it's like they actually were doing kind of nothing. It's just it stuck with you, and that sucks.
Exactly. And
But-
to be fair, as many moments as that as I remember so many good ones as well that my parents did. And it's funny the things that my dad remembers about my childhood that he's clung on to. Like it's sweet how parents will sort of like cherry pick the best moments of your childhood to really latch on to, because my dad always tells me the same story again and again that he seems to love, which is that I always loved like hotel rooms or motel rooms. When we'd take little domestic road trips, I was always excited for the room, and apparently I was in the back of the car looking out the window, and Dad said to me, what are you thinking about? And I said, I'm just thinking about what the next hotel room is going to look like. And he just loves that story for some reason. He's clung on to it. And of course, I have no memory.
But that's also what I mean. The moment that is important for them wasn't important to you.
Yeah, fully.
And that's why I love David Arquette being this like, oh, I'm sorry. Like that's what makes it nuanced, is that he regrets it.
He does.
In this kind of way of
and
like,
also Max has clearly remembered it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be deep diving so hard into this, but that bit touched me.
It did.
Because it's true how much, it shows how much Robert Rodriguez is in the mind of a child. And the fact that these little things that you say to your kid, they do actually matter. And you should try and be as encouraging as you possibly can. Claude has told me that he used to write stories as a kid, and his dad would kind of criticize them. And so he felt really self-conscious of it. His dad would also just be like, why would you want to be a writer? You're not going to be a very good writer. And that just stayed with him forever.
I stopped drawing and doing art because my art teacher was not very nice to me in high school.
yeah.
Because I wasn't already good, which I was like, that's why I'm here though, is to learn. Why aren't
fully.
you helping me get better?
Yeah,
That's
the way that
fucking
the
crazy.
things teachers can say to you, that sticks with you.
It's, by the way, speaking of the big cookies,
My giant cookies.
one thing that really I know that this is me being a pedant, right? But this really annoyed me because they get to the land of milk and cookies, which we should talk about for another reason.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to unpack with the land of milk and cookies.
Yeah. They get to the land of milk and cookies, and they're like floating down the river, and then one of them's like, something's wrong, because they hear that Max has his head on the thing. He's like, oh, there's too much stomping. And then Taylor, the Sharkboy, repeats something that he says several times. My highly trained ears can hear it too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Max just said he can hear it. You do not need highly trained ears to hear it. He just said he can hear it.
Everyone can hear it.
Everyone can hear it.
And then Lavagirl puts her head down on the piece of chocolate on the cookie and burns it. Yeah.
But there's a bit where they're like, the thing about giant cookies, if somebody made giant cookies, that means something was created to consume giant cookies. That's not how stuff works.
What do you mean?
Well, like, many things could eat a giant thing instead of one giant thing.
But considering the amount of giant things that they saw there, the amount of giant cookies, I would also think maybe there's a giant that wants to eat these giant cookies.
Maybe,
I would.
But they're
We only make giant things for the novelty. I've made a giant pizza and my whole town is going to eat it with me.
But the way that the hillsides are ice cream and the cookies are there, like it's almost implied that this is the natural flora of the land of milk and cookies.
Look, I will say
A plant isn't made so we eat it.
I would also question why this giant cookie that I know can be consumed, if something giant would eat it.
Yeah, but if the cookie grew out of the ground, would you still think that?
Yes, because I come from a world where I know that cookies are generally small.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you are in the woods and you come upon a giant radish,
Yeah.
do you go, there must be a giant who is trying to eat this radish?
If I saw numerous giant radishes, maybe, but also radishes grow, cookies are created.
No, but that's what I'm saying. This is a land in which milk and cookies flow.
No, I think I would still wonder.
There is nothing that suggests the cookie giants have made the cookies and something and
Listen,
simply
the thing
lost
is,
them.
We're two separate people, and our minds work two separate ways. You know, and that's okay.
That's such a good point.
And that's okay.
Such a good point.
You would have thoughts that I wouldn't, and vice versa.
Why can't they fly anymore? They fly at one point early in the movie. They like need to get up to a thing and they just like fist towards the ground and fly up to a platform and they never do it again.
I don't know, man. I can't keep
many
track.
situations where flying would get them out of it.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there are parts of this film that remind you of the beginning of Ra 1? Because I kept thinking about the beginning of Ra 1
Huh.
and that weird CGI set.
Yeah.
It brings back a
get
lot
where
of
you're
Ra 1
coming from.
memories, this film.
What Ra 1 also had songs, and this of course had the song, maybe the most famous Dream, 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 dream. And then I love the second iteration. Dream, 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 dream.
And he's so angry while he's singing it.
Dream, 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 dream. The worst song I've ever heard in my life. It's
Also created by a kid, I'm sure.
I hate the lyrics. I hate that it's just dream 1,000 times. It stresses me out that hearing him go dream, 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 dream.
I loved it. I loved it.
Especially his choreography is just doing karate. A thing that I didn't. Oh no, I did put this out. Yeah, all of his choreography is just karate. He just does all these big flips during it.
It's so funny that like Taylor Lautner really was just such a heartthrob.
Yeah.
At that certain moment of time. I feel like 2009.
A few years after this, but
yeah, 2009 maybe.
Yeah.
He was like peak heartthrob.
Yeah.
Which I fully missed. But Michelle, we never asked one another, or maybe we did. Look, it's been like 4 years. Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I mean, I think we did talk about this at some point, but like if we're talking New Moon, Team Jacob easy. Team Jacob easy. He's nice in that.
I'm talking overall, like you've seen everything.
Then how could I possibly be Team Jacob? He is revealed to be a sociopath who ends up falling in love with her daughter.
And nicknaming her after the Loch Ness Monster. She's a baby.
It's gotta be Team Edward.
I'm Team Edward, I would think.
It has to be.
I think if I was a young girl, I'm going into the mind of my teenage self, I would be Team Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Team Bella as a lesbian.
Yeah, that's true. You can be Team Bella.
I'm Team Bella.
Imagine if you saw her in a beige skirt. You would lose it.
Fuck, I'm gonna fucking
Holy shit.
Holy fuck. But that's what it was like watching Love Lies Bleeding, you know?
Yeah. And The Runaways.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I've realized the other day I've got The Runaways on DVD because I was so obsessed with it when I was like 14.
I get it. I wish I saw it when I was 14.
Yeah, it fucks you up.
Yeah. Also, just quickly, in that whole sequence, he then later, like, all the plug hounds come and attack them, which I think the plug hounds are kind of a fun idea.
Yeah.
But he then fully is, like, taking on almost all of them at once. And there's two things that always stuck out to me. One is the way that Lavagirl gets, like, coiled. And then the way she gets out of it, she does that. She kind of looks like she's gurning as she, like, melts. She's like... and, like, eyes up around, chewing her jaw as she melts through it.
No judgment.
And then they're asking Sharkboy for help, and he does this. He throws his staff on the ground. He goes, "Can't you see I'm busy?" He's like really giving it. That for me is the line where I'm like, Lautner's got it.
Yeah,
Lautner's got it.
It's got it in the bag.
Anyway, there's one other thing that really bothered me. Well, there's another one that, like the bed bunk, I think evoked to a thing that I was so distracted by. But there's one other thing that keeps bothering me. Linus / Minus keeps referring to smashing dreams. As if it's like a, capital S. He's like,
Yeah.
he's been smashing dreams. I need you to smash those dreams. They say it towards the end over and over. You can't smash my dreams. I'm going to smash your dreams, Max.
Yeah.
You don't smash dreams. You crush them. Smashing dreams is not a phrase. Crushing dreams is right there. You don't smash dreams. That's nothing. That's not anything.
It's not a common term to phrase. No.
You crushed. If he was like, I'm going to crush your dreams, but it referred to a real crushing, I'd be like, oh, that's clever. And instead, it's like, I'm going to smash your dreams, which is nothing.
That's a good point.
Once you realize it, the more he says smash dreams, the weirder and funnier it becomes. Because you're like, why are you saying that over and over again?
Yeah, I look, by the end there, I feel like a lot of the Linus Minus stuff I was missing. I was just too... I feel like the film itself distracted me half the time because I couldn't stop looking at the sets, so I couldn't focus on what they were saying. Also, like Mr. Electric, the whole design of Mr. Electric, his head in that weird TV contraption is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I fully forgot it was in there.
It really is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. The way it is implied that his face is actually within glass and not, it is a glass surface, because he sometimes bangs against it. At one point, Lavagirl shoots lava at him, and so he falls forward. I don't know why. She shoots it, and then that means he smooshes his face up against the glass forward. It didn't make any sense, but it also begged so many questions. Is his head trapped in there? Is he a floating head in a mechanical apparatus?
Or is it all glass? Like an orb. You know how like you can get those big glass orbs and it's all glass?
What?
When you get a glass orb, that's all glass. That's not like the shell of glass.
No, you're right.
It's full glass.
You're so right.
So is his head in a glass orb?
I think I was confused by the way you kept specifying that it was when you get a glass orb, that's all glass. If you had just said maybe it's a glass orb, I would have assumed it's glass.
I needed you to agree with me that an orb is completely glass.
No, I do. I get it now. It's like a crystal ball.
It's a crystal ball, but it's not a hollow crystal ball.
So
it's a full crystal ball.
Mr. Electric is a crystal ball
Maybe.
that is contained in a machine.
Yes. Maybe the ball is just kind of curvy cube-sized.
Curvy cube-sized?
His TV's a bit rounded.
Well, yeah, a sphere is pretty rounded.
Is he just a sphere?
No, because he's almost like a cylinder. But you kept calling him an orb. An orb is a sphere.
Listen, let's not get sidetracked in
geometry.
Let's not get so granular about it all right?
He's a puck. He's a glass puck contained within a machine.
Yes.
One other thing I really wanted to bring up with you is Lavagirl. Because she is kind of the Frankenstein of this. Because Sharkboy is given a backstory. He's given a whole deal. When he's introduced, he's like, I had a dad, I got whooshed away, the sharks came and saved me.
And he loves being a shark boy.
And also the sharks are like, hey guys, that's Sharkboy.
Let's take him back.
Don't take a bite out of him, I think is the line. And they just talk like regular guys.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Lavagirl shows up and she's like, what's my origin?
Yeah.
She is a being who was willed into existence and wants nothing more but to understand her fate.
But she also rages against who she is.
Yes, but what I'm saying is these are big things to introduce into this movie for 10-year-olds. There's a bit where she shakes her fist at Max after destroying something and goes, why did you make me this way, Max? Why?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of dark.
Oh my God.
Well, she wrestles with her identity because she's like, I don't like that I'm a force of destruction, that I hurt things. But then she realizes she is light.
She is begging her maker to explain why she exists. This is a woman confronting her God, going, I don't know who I am or why you made me.
Lavagirl is infinitely far more complex as a character than Sharkboy.
Yeah, Sharkboy's just a boy.
Dream.
Lavagirl is because we see a girl wearing a suit. No, she isn't. We even see her wearing a dress later. That's her skin. That's her body.
She's naked?
Well, because she's made of lava.
Yeah.
She's just goo. But she has a regular girl head and flames for hair.
Yeah.
Oh my
Although
God.
some would say it is just a pink wig.
Hey, whoa. It wasn't a wig. She dyed her hair pink
She
for it.
dyed her hair pink? Wow.
Yeah.
Sick. Would have been really hard to maintain.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a quick shoot, apparently.
Oh, good.
But
I can understand why. It's just one studio.
she is just begging to understand why she exists, because it's not like, it is like we are confronted with God and we get to go, why am I like this? But we also, like, we know where we came from. We understand those things. If you snapped into existence like this right now, and I was already talking to you on a podcast, I feel like at a certain point you'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then it's like, then a few days later, God comes to you and you get to go like, what's happening? Please rationalize my existence. I'm begging you.
Yeah.
That's what's happening as the D plot in this movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversations about it. There's a lot of philosophical conversations between Max and Lavagirl.
But everyone kind of just goes, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about it other than Lavagirl.
The only answer she does get is that you are not destructive, you are light. And she goes, I am light.
Yeah. And Linus at one point refers to her goal to get to, just like, Sharkboy will go back to Earth and Lavagirl will go to Earth's lava world. What the hell is that?
The volcanoes.
But they're not all connected.
Well, apparently at the end of the film, they said that she was the manager of the volcanoes.
Queen, not the manager.
The manager. The queen of the volcanoes.
She's the manager.
Can I please speak to your manager?
Oh, yeah, it's Lavagirl that shows. But that's it.
Well, you know how in the Earth there is like a ring of fire?
There's a
You know-
mantle.
yeah. They call it the ring of fire.
That's not what the Ring of Fire is.
The ring of fire is...
Well,
I'll explain what it is
okay.
to you. It is various edges of tectonic plates.
Yes.
That happen to align across various islands and
Specifically
continents.
around the Pacific.
Yeah. And that's the ring of fire. If you look at it, basically there's a massive arc or like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's the same mantle pieces, you know.
It's the Pacific plate.
Yes. And that's why there's so many volcanoes on those strips. So
Yeah.
maybe she's just the queen of the ring of fire.
Yeah, but I love Earth's lava world does imply a more complex sort of underground or even civilizational society
Yeah.
living in lava.
Yeah.
Which, again, doesn't explain who she is or what she is. She's
Lava
just
world's
satisfied
actually,
with that.
you can find it in Florida, Gold Coast, one on the outskirts of Paris, apparently. Yeah.
It's a hot journey. Don't get burned.
In Lava World.
Don't get burned in lava world.
I'd go to Lava World.
Yeah.
I like volcanoes.
Sounds like a hell of a time.
Volcanoes are cool.
Volcanoes are pretty cool.
Had a little moment with them a few years back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was like watching,
Big Kano moment. Dante's Peak.
No. God. Why can't I remember his
She
name?
loved volcanoes. That's me doing Pierce Brosnan in Dante's Peak. I loved her. She loved volcanoes.
Oh my God. Why can't I remember his name? What is wrong with me? I went to the mountain to watch.
Werner Herzog?
Yes. I knew if I just did an impression, you'd know.
But it's
Werner
like, that didn't
Herzog.
sound anything like Werner Herzog.
Shut up. When I went to the mountain
and I
to
saw
find-
the volcano. I was struck by a feeling
of immense dread. But yeah, he's done a lot of documentaries on volcanoes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I
he
didn't
did a
know that.
documentary about like this island that had fled because a volcano was set to erupt, and he was interviewing people that stayed on the island wanting to die.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so
Were they disappointed? Were they like,
it didn't explode, and everyone came back and they were like, oh. a bit embarrassed now.
only Werner Herzog could make that into a compelling documentary.
Everyone knows I have a wish to die.
There was a
Cringe.
volcano set to explode.
Explode.
It did not. However, we are interviewing the would-be deceased.
I want to see the documentary about him eating that shoe.
What?
He ate a shoe.
What?
He had a bet with a fellow documentarian.
Sure.
The guy, what's his name? Morris.
Oh, Errol Morris?
Errol Morris.
Yeah.
Who I love. I love
He's
Errol
great.
Morris's
Thin
stuff.
Blue Line?
Thin Blue
Great
Line
doco.
is so fucking
Incredible.
good. And then Heaven's Gate about the pet
Yeah.
cemetery. And then he did that one about that town in Florida as well, which is like really dangerous.
I don't know that one, but I've heard of it.
It's so fucking weird. Anyway, Errol Morris and him had a bet. I can't remember what it was over, but if like Werner Herzog lost, he would have to eat a shoe. And he lost, and he made a documentary about eating the shoe. I think he
really
boiled
funny.
it to be able to eat it.
The leather is tough.
And
However,
chewy.
it's chewy. But I cannot lie, it does have a flavor reminiscent of the food I once ate as a boy.
This was post-World War II Germany.
We were hungry, and yet we deserved it.
You're so good at it.
Thank you.
Weirdly good at it.
I think I've done it on the podcast before. Here's like Happy New Year, losers. Quote so much. It's because I got obsessed with him in The Mandalorian. It's why I started learning how to do it. Him being like, bounty hunting is a very complicated profession. I would like to see the baby. I loved
like
those
to
lines
see the baby.
so much
Yeah.
that I just became obsessed with doing Werner Herzog for a while.
I was obsessed with his voice because of the documentaries of his.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, I don't think I
look
could,
at Miss Intellectual over here.
Yeah, because I was watching documentaries about volcanoes while you were watching fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, and I was having a good
Loser.
time. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, look, sometimes his documentaries are a bit too dry. Why is it that you want to die here?
What I love is when he appears in things like Rick and Morty. It's great. It's really enjoyable.
Have you got any trivia for me?
Do you want to hear some trivia? Whoa.
Yeah, bitch.
Whose fucking episode is this?
I'm waiting.
All right. Here we go into the trivia.
Yeah, deliver the rest of it. Werner Herzog, please.
The movie was shot and completed so quickly that by the time Robert Rodriguez was ready to ship it, the advertisements weren't even finished.
It's very good.
Isn't that cool? He's really, because he
done
also
it.
cut it. He was the DP.
Yeah.
He did like everything.
Yeah.
Taylor Lautner's martial arts skills
Think you keep going.
helped him to obtain the role of Sharkboy. When I auditioned for the film, Robert Rodriguez, the director, didn't know that I had my martial arts background. And while we were there in Austin, Texas, he saw a DVD of me and asked me to choreograph my own fight scenes, said Lautner. So he did all of his own choreography.
That's so cool.
Which I does feel makes sense with how he, like, it's a lot of spinning and showing off and not a lot of choreography that makes sense. Alexa Vega was considered for the role of Lavagirl, having previously worked with Robert Rodriguez in the 3 Spy Kids films.
I think most people incorrectly, like, they misremember that
Yeah.
it is Alexa Vega playing Lavagirl. At least I do all the time. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's a different girl.
Interestingly, whilst many girls were considered for the role, Miley Cyrus was going to be
shit.
Lavagirl. However, she was busy scheduling Hannah Montana.
It's like season 1 of Hannah Montana.
Yeah, like she
Wow.
was doing it.
That's cool.
The word dream and its derivations.
Now this sounds like Werner Herzog.
Yeah. It does.
The word dream.
The word dream. The word dream and its derivations are spoken 188 times.
Fuck.
Dream, brackets, 165. Dreaming, 9. Dreamt, 8. Dreamers, 5.
Who the
and
fuck
dreamed
did this?
1. Would you like to hear some reviews?
I would. Thank you, Werner.
You're very welcome.
He just guest starred to do the trivia with you, and now he's popping back off to...
You do the German, but you do someone who's like so breathy.
Yeah, it's very breathy, very slow, staggered.
This has 20% in Rotten Tomatoes and a
Okay.
3.5 on IMDb. Post Chicago sometimes gave this a 2 out of 4, saying the 3D process used was distracting and muted the colors. Thus, he believes spoiling much of the film, and that the film would look much more visually appealing when released in the home media market. To which I would say, there's an argument to be made that that's true. However, it is still one of the ugliest movies I've ever seen in my life.
It is. To be fair, though, you can't enjoy it in its full at home because it should be watched in 3D.
Yeah.
And there was various bits where I could tell that was going to be a 3D moment, but I really wanted the gruesome effect of a lot of it. There's that bit where Taylor Lautner like spits his drink out,
Yeah.
and it's meant to splatter on you.
The fucking glasses on sign that pops
Yeah.
up, and then they have the lava, the pink glasses and the blue.
Yeah.
Pink for the girls, blue for the boys.
Have you got another pair for the boys? No.
It's why I did appreciate in Spy Kids 4 how there was a similar pink blue moment, but the boy went for the pink and the girl went for the blue. I
Because they're
appreciated
not
that.
stereotypical.
No. Here's an IMDb review titled "This Movie is the Land of Milk and Cookies" by Hold My Blunt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Let's put it this way. My son never stopped for a second in any way to not pay attention to this not stop, fully packed kids action movie that he laughed at and intensely paid attention to. The action scenes. There's construction, sorry. I sat wondering if I was tripping out from all the crazy effects. Georgia Lopez is always amazing. Did I also mention it has Doofy as a cool dad? The plot and acting was Vi in Bo means bad.
Sorry, he called him Doofy.
Yeah.
That's the scary movie name for him.
Yeah, I know, right? it's not correct.
No.
The plot and acting was Vi in Bo means bad or horrible. Honestly, if you can think logically that this movie grossed well over even means a lot, but yet has bad ratings.
Tell me about it.
Died from Twilight is the Shatka, just in case.
Died from Twilight.
You haven't figured it out. I'm pretty sure the robot is the horny robot from Robot Chicken.
What?
10 out of 10.
What?
I can't remember if the horny robot in Robot Chicken is also George Lopez, but it's very funny to name drop George Lopez and then bring up another George Lopez character and be like, I think he's that guy.
Dude, don't just hold this guy's blunt. Throw it away.
Hold my blunt. Yeah, man. Let me put that out for you.
Go take care of your son.
Here's another review titled, Of Course You Think It's Awful by Stephen Flyboy. This movie was obviously made to draw in a young children audience. So if you're an adult, of course you would think it's awful. If you're an adult and actually like this movie, then I would say there is a reason to worry. The previous review states, my 6-year-old girl loved the movie, etc. I rest my case.
What the fuck?
To you who think it's so awful, I'd bet you $1 million that if you were 6 years old, you would love it too. So I don't think it's fair to shoot the movie down like that. Hey, let your 6-year-old daughter write a review on it. If she can, it will be positive instead of negative.
True.
In my book, I say a movie is good if it keeps my kids' attention while I do something else.
True.
At least it ain't Night of the Living Dead.
What?
This movie is an excellent babysitter.
Why Night of the Living Dead?
You expect me to understand these people? I do not.
I was really with them until that.
Here's the last review I had. A great and entertaining movie by Ephraim Edwards.
What?
Ephraim Edwards or Ephraim Wards.
Oh.
Or Dwards. My 5-year-old has watched this 10 times already. The first 2 times I was entertained, but now it has worn on me. I asked him the other day how many more times we must watch this, and he said 100. There's a message that is pushed throughout the film. I'm not sure why the reviews are bad. 10 out of 10.
What? What's the message?
There's a message that's pushed throughout this film.
Also, so what if your kid wants to watch it 100 times? They're a kid.
It's worn on me.
It's worn on me.
It's worn on me.
But that's what kids like. I feel like I watch so much stuff again and again as a child.
Stimmy.
Yeah.
Stimmy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, I'm not going to lie. As everyone knows, when I got Little Miss Sunshine on DVD when I was 14, I watched it 29 times in 1 week. But also when you really like something, you just want to keep going.
You just want to keep going over and over and over.
Yeah.
But there was the humble people of IMDb. Abigail, what was your review?
I think it's great.
Yeah?
I actually think it's great. I know it's meant to be a bad film, but like, would I absolutely watch this again? Yes. And I think there's a reason that you've watched it again and again.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great time. And I like that it was a kids film made for kids for like, and it feels like it's made by kids as well. Like, I think it's rare that actually happens. Robert Rodriguez is so in touch with what magic as a child should feel like.
Yeah, in the way that George Lucas was with the prequels.
Yeah.
Like, those are bad movies that kids adore.
Yeah, fully. Like Phantom Menace when I was a kid.
Oh
I
my
fucking
God.
loved it because we got to watch Anakin as a child.
Yeah.
And it meant that we could relate to it. So I don't think it's that bad. I think it's, it's fucking crazy. But I love watching it because it's such a stupid time. So I was looking forward to this one. And it didn't disappoint. And I'm going to give it a 5.3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, look, I would go as high with you, but I can't, simply for the fact that I did watch this with someone. This was the fourth of these movies I watched in a row.
Yeah.
I did watch this with someone, and at the end of it, she said that what we do on this podcast is masochistic.
Yes. This was the good one, though. This was a good one.
Which is a thing I said to her, and she said, I know. So that kind of stuck in my head a little bit of like, oh, yes, of course. To anyone else, this is a masochistic exercise. And we're like, wow, pleasantly surprising.
No sexual assault.
Yeah. So that kind of made me reevaluate a little what we're doing in this moment.
Oh.
So, but I won't give it like low. I'll just do it on the other end. I'll give it a 4.7.
Okay.
So I'm with you. It's 3 away from the center, but I'll have to err towards lower because she was right.
Rude.
Fundamentally.
Rude. Negating my experience.
I wasn't negating your experience. It was enriching mine.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, it's my episode. Well, you know. In addition to reviews, we also exist on social media. You can find us on Twitter at RateDescendPod. You can find us on TikTok at RatingDescending. Or you can find us on our own social media. Or you can email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com. We love the email.
We're also on YouTube now at Rating Descending.
Or you can also find us on our own social media. You can find me on my own social media. You can find Abigail. You're falling asleep, and I'm not even doing all the shows this time. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle.St. You can Abigail. You can find me on Letterboxd at M. St. Clair.
Or, finally,
Full REM cycle and
if you've
everything.
done all that, and if you love the show and you want to support us, but you don't have the money, a review, please.
Wait, what money are they spending?
Well, you know how some people you want to support us buy our merch?
Oh,
we don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
merch,
sure. We
but
don't
you know
have
what you
merch.
could do? Drop a review.
Yeah. Oh.
It's free. It'll only take 2 minutes of your time and it'll mean a lot to us.
Well, I've heard it will also make something else
What?
a difference.
Of course. Of course.
Zut alors. Oh, mon chéri. Well, that was The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. Mm-hmm. Abby, what are we watching next week?
Dude, next week we are watching D-Wars.
Isn't it?
Dragon...
No, it's the other way around.
Sorry. Dragon Wars. D-Wars.
I think it's Dragon Wars : D-Wars. D-War singular.
What the fuck?
There's the Dragon Wars. This is specifically
D-War.
the single D-War.
Fuck off.
What don't you understand about this, Abby?
So dumb.
There's Dragon Wars. This is just narrowing in onto the one D-War.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm already against it.
Maybe the most confusing and unnecessary title we've come across so far.
I'm sure there's more confusion to come.
Oh.
I'll leave you all on that ominous note.
Perhaps a little hit in the head action?
What?
Because you're startled and confused?
Oh, are you going to hit me in the head?
No, I'm saying the movie's going to
Why
hit
would
you in
you
the
do
head.
that?
All right, you know what? Forget I said anything.
Oh my God.
Forget I said anything.
My little head. My hussy. My giant cookies.